I mean, that was at least 90 minutes of therapy for me. So thank you. In only 8 minutes.
It's funny how quickly love works, but it's so interesting. I know individual results may vary, but I've done this with people I know well and people I only met in this exercise. And it's always striking to me how the intent to connect with someone in the spirit of positivity so quickly can create a deeper conversation. Did you have a similar experience? Yeah. Yeah. That intent really matters. Intent is Dan Siegel defines mind as a process, an embodied relational process that directs the flow of energy, right? And so when we have the intent to be helpful to someone, the intent to connect with someone, the intent to shower our love on someone, it's changing the flow of energy in that relationship. And things can happen. Things can happen in that won't happen when we're all protecting ourselves and being guarded, right?
Let me. I want to kind of pull back just a little bit on this notion of connection, um, and I want to just take it in a place of, there's as a futurist, as somebody who works actively on the future, we are all often working for people that we'll never meet. You know? Um, who are the next generations? Think about the youngest person you're going to meet before you probably die. It might be, for those of you who have children or grandchildren, it might be a great grandchild. But now think about their next generations, right? I mean, what we're trying to do with futuring is to create brighter futures for folks we'll never meet. So the modification of this exercise that Ginny just did with us is, if you could look with absolute loving regard to a future generation you would never meet, how would that change the kind of decisions that you make now that will have this longer term impact on them? If we're doing 10-year futures or 20-year futures, right? We're creating seeds, we're plowing fields for folks we will never meet. So thank you, Ginny, so much for this exercise. I want to come back a little bit to fearlessness, because I just got this question yesterday from somebody who's a big deal in the American Planning Association. And I'm getting ready to do a workshop for an audience that she's going to be in. And she's like, Rebecca, you have got to talk to us about how we manage the fear on the part of our city councils. People are afraid to do bold things. They know that the need is there. Insert name of pressing issue here. So social justice, criminal justice reform, public health, human trafficking, fill in the blank. They know something needs to be done, but their willingness to do something bold is cloaked in fear. Mm-hmm. So for those of us who are trying to do big things with others in the space of the public square, what kind of coaching for us on helping eliminate people's fear?
It's fear operates from a sense of separation. It operates from a separate self, and in self-protection. I feel separate, and so I'm taking care of this, and I don't want to be wrong, and I don't want to make a big mistake, and I don't want to be fired, and I don't want to be da 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 da. So how we take away fear is to help establish a stronger connection, a direct experience of connection. And the more direct that experience can be, the better. So Christy did it, for example, by we joined, he shifted, She could give a direct experience of connection by how she radiated love in that moment. So when we're working with teams, how can we help them feel a direct connection, for example, to the future that their decision is going to impact? How can we give them a direct connection to one another and the support we're going to be to one another because we're in this together? Not, no one's going to be left behind. The way, the SEAL teams are famous for this no one left behind mindset, that they are able to come together and create a group resonance, a hive consciousness, because there's an absolute necessity to their purpose. They are able to be interconnected. They get on the same wavelength, and they literally use physical things like walking together, hiking together, to establish a common wavelength, and no one's left behind. Everyone has each other's back. So you can't, that's a hard thing to edict on a team, but leaders go first by establishing the kind of context where I have your back and I'm here for you. We can percolate the climate on a team where people can, if it's possible for them, resonate with that signal. One of the principles of resonance that I just love is that if you shout into the strings of a grand piano, try it sometime. The strings that match your voice start to vibrate, and the ones that don't match your voice are still. So when you radiate love into a team, the ones who can pick it up will start to vibrate. The ones who can't, maybe next time. That's just it. We can't change other people on our agenda. It doesn't work that way. But with the signal we put out, when that signal is what we want to see in the world, the people who can vibrate with it will start vibrating. And when they're connected to us, we've closed the gap so fear has no room to grow. Give fear no room to grow by being the person, the leader that others can connect with and who can show them how truly connected they are. An exercise I sometimes play with people is, show me your boundary. Where's your boundary right now? And I ask you that. Where's your boundary right now? And a lot of people, what's our common sense answer? Well, it's this meat suit, right? This is my boundary. You go, oh yeah? Really? Is that really your boundary? Well, what about the field around you? If I had a little magnetometer, I could put it in the room, I could measure your electromagnetic field. Is that part of you? Because it sure is going to go away if you die. So is that part of you? Well, okay, maybe that feels part of me. And when your heart and your head and your hara are in coherence, that field gets much stronger. Is that part of you? Yeah, I guess so. How about the vibe that you exude in a relationship? Is that part of you? How about the culture you create in your community or on your team? Is that part of you? Think of a project or something you're working on that you've poured your energy into, and it's created all these effects in other people's lives. Is that a part of you? How about the land you're standing on right now? Or the shape, the space you've created around you, this office, this home, this sacred space that just exudes you right now. It's your style. Is that part of you? Right? Are you in them? Are they in you? The truth is we're always acting into a medium where every action is a chain reaction. You couldn't find your boundary if you tried.
Oh, Ginny, that is absolutely lovely. We're coming to the close, unfortunately. There's so much more to say, so much more to talk about. But I'm going to post the waterfall question. For those of you who were here after 1 minute after the hour, the waterfall is, I'm going to create a horizontal bar at the top of the chat with the question. And I'd like everyone to type their answer in without pressing enter until we all give each other the high sign. So you might want to put your camera on just for this, put it on gallery view so that you can kind of see where everybody's at. So here's the waterfall question. What is one takeaway from our hour with Ginny? What is one takeaway for you from our hour with Ginny? Just type it in, don't hit enter yet, type it in, and tell me you're done by raising your hand. Tell me you're done entering your answer when you raise your hand, okay? Some of you are still thinking about it. Some of you are still typing it in. Good. Thank you. Love you guys. Awesome. Good. Got a few others. All right, got that thumbs up. Okay, everyone hit enter. Boom! Oh, so great. This is lovely. Just read over this. This is amazing. This is almost as refreshing as standing at a waterfall. Oh. Ginny, it's time for us to enter the plug zone. You have appeared with us freely and from your own boundless generosity, and I wonder if there is anything you would like to plug.
Well, thank you. It's a generous question. A couple of things that for people who are curious about this to go deeper. I mean, Rebecca's held up Resonate the Book, and there is a website called resonatethebook.com where you can get more information about that book as well as some companion videos. There's also a course starting early in the new year, February 22nd, and this is the last month to get the premier pricing on that course, called Resonate the Course. And I'll put the links to both of those in the chat. So if this calls you, you can go further with it.
Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And I also have something to plug, and I'm going to just do it very briefly, and that is this. My team and I have been bringing you these Futures Friday webinars at no cost to you except the cost of your internet and the cost of your time, which I know is not insignificant, but we've never charged a nickel for these things. So if you were moved by today's guest presentation, or if you'd like to do something to just signal support for these Futures Friday, the Institute for Zen Leadership's end of year campaign is open now, and we are within a hair's breadth. And even if you can give $10 or $5, it all adds up, it all matters. And these resources help support teachers who teach the concepts that Ginny shared with you, and they help provide scholarships to folks who just can't afford to get Zen leadership training, maybe because they're at a nonprofit, or maybe they're new in their career and they just don't have the resources. So for sure, do the Resonate course with Ginny, check out the book. If you missed that 99-cent Kindle window from a couple weeks ago, you can still get it for $6.99 on Kindle. And if you'd like to make a contribution to the Institute, which Ginny founded, what is it now?
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Only 8, I know, it seems like 11.
It does, it does. Time's weird. We'd appreciate that contribution as well. So, y'all, this is our last Futures Friday of 2020. So I won't see you again until 2021 in this format, but I wish I could do this to each and every one of you. Hug, hug, love, love. We need each other, and we have each other. Go get them, Tiger. See you next time.
Wonderful. Thank you all.